What if the most powerful men in the world hid their darkest secrets behind locked doors, where beauty, betrayal, and forbidden desire ruled supreme? Welcome to the Ottoman harems, lavish prisons of silk and gold, where concubines wielded power that could topple empires or end in their own destruction. In this video, we're ripping away the veil to reveal the shocking truth of what really happened inside the Sultan's harems. From scandalous love affairs to ruthless power plays, these women weren't just objects of desire, they were players in a deadly game. Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into a world of intrigue that history tried to hide. The Ottoman Empire, spanning 6 centuries, was a titan of power, stretching from Eastern Europe to the Middle East. At its heart was the Topkapı Palace in Istanbul, and within its walls lay the harem, a secluded sanctuary reserved for the Sultan's women, children, and eunuchs. The word harem comes from the Arabic haram, meaning forbidden, and it was exactly that. A place no outsider could enter, shrouded in mystery and myth. But don't be fooled by romanticized tales of endless pleasure. The harem was a complex world of ambition, rivalry, and survival. Imagine a labyrinth of opulent chambers, where marble floors gleamed under candlelight, silk drapes fluttered, and the air was thick with rosewater and intrigue. The harem housed up to 300 women, concubines, wives, the Sultan's mother, the valide Sultan, and their attendants. These women came from across the empire and beyond. Enslaved girls from the Caucasus, Eastern Europe, or Africa, chosen for their beauty or talents. They weren't just there for the Sultan's pleasure. They were trained in music, dance, poetry, and even politics to serve the imperial court. But life in the harem was no fairy tale. These women were captives, often torn from their families, stripped of freedom, and thrust into a cutthroat hierarchy. At the top was the valide Sultan, the Sultan's mother, who held immense power, often choosing which concubines would catch her son's eye. Below her were the cadens, principal wives, then the iqbals, favorites, and finally the lowliest concubines, who might never even meet the Sultan. Every woman fought for status, knowing that bearing a son could elevate her to royalty, or doom her if a rival's child rose instead. The harem was guarded by eunuchs, men castrated to ensure loyalty and prevent illicit affairs. Their presence added another layer of tension, as they mediated between the Sultan and his women, sometimes acting as spies or power brokers. This was no simple pleasure palace. It was a political chessboard where every move could mean life or death. Let's address the question everyone's asking. What really happened behind those harem doors? The harem's reputation as a den of sensuality wasn't entirely a myth. The Sultan's nights were carefully orchestrated. Eunuchs and senior women, like the Kalfa, female overseers, prepared chosen concubines, dressing them in silks, adorning them with jewels, and schooling them in the art of pleasing the Sultan. A single night could change a woman's fate. If she caught the Sultan's favor, she might rise to iqbal status, gaining wealth and influence. But the reality was far from romantic. Many concubines waited years, even decades, for a chance to meet the Sultan. Some never did. Competition was fierce, and favoritism bred jealousy. Historical records, like those from the 16th century chronicler Mustafa Ali, describe concubines using charm, wit, or even subtle manipulation to stand out. Some resorted to darker tactics. Rumors swirled of poisonings or sabotage to eliminate rivals, though evidence is scarce and often exaggerated by European travelers' lurid accounts. The most shocking truth? The harem wasn't just about physical desire, it was a breeding ground for power. Concubines who bore sons were elevated to Hasiki, mother of a prince, giving them a stake in the empire's future. But this came with danger. Ottoman succession was brutal. Princes often killed their brothers to secure the throne, a practice called fratricide. Mothers schemed to protect their sons, forming alliances or bribing officials. The stakes were high. A concubine's son becoming Sultan meant she could become valide Sultan, the most powerful woman in the empire. Take Harems Sultan, one of history's most famous harem women. Born as Roxolana, a Ruthenian slave, she captivated Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent in the 1520s. Unlike most concubines, She married him, breaking centuries of tradition. Her influence was so great that she shaped imperial policy, corresponded with foreign rulers, and secured her son Selim II's path to the throne. But her rise came at a cost. Rumors of her eliminating rivals, including Suleiman's firstborn son by another woman, haunted her legacy. Hürrem's story shows the harem's dual nature, a place of seduction and a battlefield for power. The harem's political role reached its peak during the 16th and 17th centuries, known as the Sultanate of Women. Valide sultans like Nurbanu and KösemSultan didn't just influence their sons, they practically ruled through them. Nurbanu, a Venetian noble turned concubine, became valide sultan under her son Murad III. She negotiated with European powers and controlled palace appointments, making the harem a nerve center of Ottoman politics. KösemSultan's story is even more dramatic. As valide sultan under her sons Murad IV and Ibrahim I, she dominated the empire in the early 17th century. When Ibrahim proved unstable, Kösem allegedly orchestrated his deposition, and possibly his murder, to install her grandson Mehmed IV. But her power made enemies. In 1651, she was strangled by rivals in a palace coup, a stark reminder of the harem's deadly stakes. Concubines also faced betrayal. A shocking practice was the cage system, introduced in the 17th century. Princes were confined to the harem to prevent rebellions, living in luxury but virtual imprisonment. Their mothers fought to keep them alive, knowing a rival prince's ascension could mean execution for their sons. The harem's walls hid not just passion but paranoia, as women navigated alliances and rivalries. European accounts, like those of Venetian ambassador Ottaviano Bon, exaggerated the harem's debauchery, painting it as a place of endless orgies. But Ottoman records, such as the palace's financial ledgers, reveal a more disciplined system. Concubines received stipends, education, and even freedom if they bore no children and the sultan released them. Yet the pressure to secure favor or a son's future drove some to desperate acts, from bribing eunuchs to spreading rumors about rivals. Now, let's uncover the harem's darkest truths. One chilling rumor was infanticide. Concubines allegedly eliminating rivals' children to secure their own son's path to the throne. While hard evidence is limited, chronicles like those of historian Pasevi Ibrahim mention suspicious deaths in the harem, hinting at such plots. The practice of fratricide, where a new sultan executed his brothers, cast a shadow over every mother's ambitions. Another shocking aspect was the role of eunuchs. Castrated to ensure loyalty, they were both protectors and prisoners of the harem. Chief eunuchs, like Hasai Mustafa Aga in the 17th century, wielded immense influence, controlling access to the sultan and brokering deals. Some were accused of exploiting their power, favoring certain concubines for bribes or personal gain. Their presence added a layer of surveillance, making the harem feel like a gilded cage. The harem's isolation also bred psychological tolls. Concubines, often teenagers, were cut off from their past lives, forced to compete in a foreign world. Ottoman poet Bakiyes verses hint at their loneliness, describing women trapped in silken chains. Some turned to religion or charity, funding mosques or schools as Hürrem did, to carve out meaning beyond the sultan's favor. Perhaps the most shocking truth is how the harem defied expectations. Far from being passive, many women shaped the empire's destiny. Murayma Sultan, Hürrem's daughter, advised her father Suleiman and funded naval campaigns. Yet their power was precarious. One misstep could mean exile or death. The harem was a paradox, a place of beauty and brutality, desire and despair. By the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire modernized, and the harem's influence waned. Reforms under Mahmud II and the Tanzimat period reduced the valide sultan's power, and the harem became more ceremonial. When the empire fell in 1922, the last harem women were freed, many returning to their homelands or marrying. Yet the harem's mystique endures, fueled by exaggerated tales in books like The Lustful Turk. Today, the Topkapı Palace harem is a museum, its empty chambers a haunting reminder of the women who lived, loved, and fought there. Their stories challenge the stereotype of the harem as a mere pleasure den, revealing it as a crucible of ambition and survival. From Hürrem's rise to Kösem's tragic end, these women left an indelible mark on history, proving that power, not just passion, defined the harem. The Ottoman harems were more than scandalous. They were a battleground where women defied their chains to shape an empire. Which harem story shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more dark history. Want more scandals? Check out our video on the Roman Empire's disturbing secrets or our playlist on forbidden history. Hit the bell so you never miss an unfiltered truth.